All right, good morning, everyone. It is 7:33 on the morning of February 13th, 2023, and this is my morning strategy session. So, what are we looking at here? The title of the video, first off, is probably a quiet day. So, this blue line right here represents the CPI report release, which is going to happen at 8:30 tomorrow morning. And so action that occurs today, it'll probably be a pretty quiet day. Um, and I imagine that we'll probably hang around somewhere around this $301 price area today without too much up or down. I will be putting on a position in the afternoon prior to the close. So when it hits about 3:30 or so, I'm going to put on a straddle, and I'll pretty much pick the price of the straddle, the strike price of the straddle, pretty much wherever price is at 3:30 today, at 3:30 p.m. And then wait to see what kind of fireworks we get from the uh, the CPI release, tomorrow morning's CPI release. And just kind of recap recent action here. There was a gap that was put in between the 1st and the 2nd of February right here. Here's the gap, this kind of green blob right here. Actually, let me see if I can make it a little bit easier to see, clean it up a little bit. So yeah, this green blob right here, there's a gap. And so price action has spent the last 7 days, I should say actually 6 days since the gap, coming back to fill that gap again. And we did it here, I believe we did, yeah, we did it here on Thursday of last week. And then yet, I think it's going to be pretty quiet until we figure out, we see what happens with Tuesday's CPI. And I'm glad to see that the gap filled prior to this Tuesday reading. Just because for me, trading, to the upside, which I think that's my bias. My bias is bullish. Trading to the upside with an unfilled gap just leaves this sort of nagging bearishness on my mind when the markets gap up and then take off and the gap doesn't get filled. It's annoying to me. I don't know if perhaps I have a little bit of OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, or if knowing all gaps have to come back and get filled at some point for the technicals to repair themselves. It sort of leaves a note in my mind. Well, so the gap has been filled. Now, in my opinion, we're free to go to the upside. Personally, I think the CPI numbers are manipulated. I think that it's really quite possible that the Bureau, I think it's the Bureau of Labor Statistics, is that right? That pulls up? I can't remember which agency it is that does the CPI. Well, anyway, in my opinion, the gap being filled and the data that is going to be released in CPI, there's a weighting. Apparently, the various components that are all calculated and mashed together to produce CPI, the weighting, the importance of those components on the outcome, the value of CPI can be manipulated through weighting. And I was watching and doing a little bit of research over the weekend, and oh gosh, I can't remember what agency it is. Well, the weightings were changed on the CPI, and in my opinion, I think that the CPI report is going to either come in line with expectations or below expectations, which is going to be very bullish. I think it's manipulated. I think that's what we get for having a central banking system. Andrew Jackson's probably rolling over in his grave, and Hamilton is probably jumping for joy. But yeah, today I will, at the end of the day, regardless, I'm going to be putting on puts and calls at 3:30 for either a big move up or a big move down after the CPI report comes out. Um, and that's pretty much the strategy. That is my strategy for the day. Pre-market here, we are in the overbought territory. You can see here on the 1 minute pre-market and the 10-minute pre-market, we're in overbought territory, and the 1 minute on the VIX is coming out of oversold, and the 10-minute is heading toward oversold. So this morning up move here could actually it could be sustained, and what I mean is whenever the open occurs. Let's see, the open is at 9:30. Let's say, suppose for a moment that it opens up somewhere, let's say somewhere around 395. We could see a pretty decent move up after the open, and then see it correct, and then I personally, I think that's pretty much what the day is going to look like. Is it's just going to be like we'll have an open movement, and then it'll be pretty much sideways for the rest of the day, and leading up until tomorrow morning's CPI report. So of course, if I get the signals, I will take a trade. If all four of these CPI, or I'm sorry, if all four of the RSI indicators line up at the same time, then I will take a trade. But otherwise, I'll be sitting on my hands. I anticipate sitting on my hands today. Here we are with the 10-year, 2-year. Interesting little thing happening here with the 10-year, 2-year. Pretty strange. I don't see this too often. And generally speaking, it looks like a bear flag. A little bear flag thing happening there. Imagine that we'll probably head down even further than where it is right now, probably after tomorrow. Let's see, the dollar. Dollar caught a little bit of support back here on the 2nd of February, and it's picked up a bit. This is really a tiny bull flag. It's possible the dollar strength, dollar could strengthen from here, but I'm not putting. I mean, that's a really, Look at this here. So it caught support over here. We'll get to the very bottom. Yeah, dollar caught support where it found some support back here in May of 2022. Found some support here. Personally, I think the dollar has further to fall. So we'll get a little rise here in the dollar, and then watch the dollar come back down a bit. Stronger dollars, correlation between the strength of the dollar and the weakness of the markets is at 90. It's a pretty strong correlation. Bitcoin here, so very interesting. I think that we are in the time frame of this crossover down here, where this neckline crosses over a support level, and that is, let's see, looks like it crosses right here on this date on the 16th of February. So coming up was that 16th is the Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. We could see some fireworks on Bitcoin. And my guess is it's to the downside. Now, will it make it all the way down to where this crossover happened? When we were back here, we made this break in Bitcoin above the neckline. I thought, I was like, I don't trade Bitcoin, so, it doesn't really, my opinion doesn't really matter. But I thought after we poked our head up over here and leaked back down again, I thought we'd pretty much be on this kind of trajectory. But it did really put in a surprising move here. This is a 50% move from 16,000 to 24,000. That's one heck of a move. So do I think that it crashes all the way down to its neckline in the next couple of days? I don't think so. That's highly improbable. But do I think it comes back down to this neckline again? I think so. And I think it's just a matter of time. It's not going to be in a few days. I think it might take a few weeks. Okay, so that's pretty much all I've got going on for today. Not a whole heck of a lot. Pretty much just waiting until 3:30 today. I'm going to keep my eyes on the markets. Keep my eyes on the morning session, see if a trade is there. I kind of doubt there will be one there for me, for my strategy, but we'll see. All right, everybody. Good luck out there. Keep your risk tight. Click like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, tap the bell, and I will see you at tomorrow morning's strategy session. Thanks for tuning in. I am out.